Psalms chapter 4. Hear me when I call, Almighty of my righteousness. You have enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O you sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after falsehood? But know that Yahuah has set apart him that is holy for himself. Yahuah will hear when I call unto him. Stand in wonder and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be quiet. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in Yahuah. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Yet Yahuah, lift up the light of your countenance upon us. You have put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that their grain and their wine has increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for you, Yahuah, only make me dwell, I ask, in safety. Shabbat Shalom, Yashua, of the DFG. That, again, was a reading from the book of Psalms, chapter 4. And I might note, in recognition of my dear son, Noah, and my dear sister, a part of the DFG inner family, Angelina, let those words meditate in your heart. He initiated it, my son Noah, to be a gift and a blessing to a daughter of Zion, who quite frankly right now could use one. Hallelujah. That said, I want to talk to you, my dear brothers and sisters, about a couple of things. First and foremost, have you noticed what is going on all over this flat earth? What's happening in Iran? Who's behind what's happening in Iran? How this government, United States, along with its proxy government, the nation of Yasharel, the land of Israel, the stolen land of Israel, I might add, how that in confederation, they have made a proclamation, for the most part, to kill 90 million Iranians. I did say 90 million. And as bombastic and wicked and absurd and outrageous as that is, that governments would conspire against a people, because this particular people has not bowed down and given up their culture, giving up their traditions, giving up 4,000 plus years, again, of a culture, regardless of what that culture is, but a committed culture, a culture that says we will not be slaves to heathens. And their attitude is simple. But if you don't bow down, as Nimrod, tried to force our brethren. It's happened to Yashua before. We read about it in the book of Daniel chapter 3. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. When Nebuchadnezzar said, you bow down to my statue. You bow down and you glorify me. When my horns come, my sounds come, you do it, I will put fire upon you. Israel resisted. Iran is resisting. Now, I don't count Iranians as our brothers. They're not. Most likely, possible, they're seed of Abraham, Ishmael, but not Isaac, not the children of the blessed. But the one thing that they have in common with us, the oppressor, a vicious monster of human beings, a vicious monster beast of human beings, who could care less about life, who could care less about the sanctity of culture, the sanctity of independence, the sanctity of, strength and character, history, because they don't have one. And because they don't have one, they go around like scorched earth predators and plunders, parasites, and steal and kill and murder and lie and undermine to possess others. See, there are lessons for us to learn from this example of what's going on around us, Yahuah. And what is the major lesson is they have not changed. We were taught through the book of Jasher that Nimrod had a son named Merlin, and Nimrod was wicked. Jasher 7:48. And it tells us that his son Merlin was as wicked as his father, talking about their children. Follow the patterns of their children. From the wicked comes wickedness. Many of you out there have not embraced this lesson. That's why many of you out there talking about in America, the West, think that this culture, this predatory beast of a people are your friends. That they actually, care about you. That they see you as they see themselves. And it's only self-destruction. Except you be of their kind, your life does not matter. Yahuah, now I'm talking directly to us. And although these beasts of nations, these heathens, these vicious, again, murderers, led by, the prime minister of that land, the president of this land, and there are other who working alongside of them. They don't care nothing about the sanctity of life, culture, heritage, because they have none. They have no value system. And because these people exist among us, eventually, brothers and sisters, slowly but surely, like a vine going up a tree, that death spiral is going to come back to our people. And if you had any questions about it, you can read it right here in our book. It talks about how this vineyard, or this was taken down, a beautiful, pure vineyard, grapes. And how those grapes turned into sour grapes. And how did they turn into sour grapes? Because they let their guards down, they let their fence down, and they allowed the wildness, the vanity, they talked about it already, to come in and choke out a history of people whose history goes back at least 5,000 years, maybe longer, talking about ours, talking about Iranian, or what they would call the Muslims. And I know that doesn't go back that far. They wouldn't have called themselves Muslim, but they would have called themselves the children of Israel. But our history is a rich history, Yahuah. And if they find these people are threats, and these people can hold on, and these people can stay focused, and these people can, guess what, fight back. They're not running. Yeah, they've gone in and they've slaughtered their leadership. And what did they do, my brothers and sisters? Because they have a culture, they have a value system, there's another level of leadership. And when they destroy that level, there's another level and another level. And the more they think they can rid these people off the earth, the more these people are showing that when you stick together, anything is possible. Our Torah tells us this: one will put 1,000 to fight, two 10,000. Simply means that if you're a like-minded culture where you have trained and developed your children to stand before Yahuah, to stand and trust his word, regardless of what these heathens might do, no weapon formed against you will prosper. But know for certain that these beasts of a people do not change. And they will never be our friends. They will never be able to make peace, because there is no peace in them. Malachi told us that. He said what? That Yahuah said, I hate Esau. He said, I hate them. He said, they have despised my people. They have abused my people. They have sold my children. They have sold the boys, as whores and the daughters for a bottle of wine. Joel tells us that. Malachi tells us that he hates them. He said, what? Esau I have hated, but Jacob I love. Malachi chapter 1, verse 3. He hates them for a reason. Because they are evil and they are wicked and they have nothing in them but debauchery. And they have taught Israel, unfortunately, true Israel, not them devils over there, Khazarians, Ukrainians. Cavemen, cave women, beast people, Neanderthals, soulless people, not them. He's talking about us. The pure heart, the true or pure blood, better said, maybe not pure heart, but the pure bloods. And there'll be wicked Israelites among us. Oh, nobody is pure blood. Well, you need to take that up with your mama and your daddy. I told you that before. I don't know what kind of whoredom they were doing, so maybe you're not. But I am. Many of us are. And there's a sure sign that validates it for us, and it's that we love Yahuah and we love his Torah. And guess what, brothers and sisters? We're working together to pull back away from them. And we are reestablishing our culture with integrity, with energy, with a sense of power, with truth and sincerity. And nothing is going to stop us. David said our enemies encamp us round and about. Psalms 83. He said these enemies want to overshadow us, to try to take away from us the ancient landmarks that our fathers and forefathers would not allow, the righteous ones. They said, no, you're not going to remove this Torah from amongst our people. We will fight you for this Torah. Judah Maccabees, in 1 Maccabees chapter 2, what did he tell that king? Oh, no, you can't buy me. I'm not for sale. You can't give me anything. I don't want it. What I want and what I'm going to demand and I will die for is my Torah. And I'm going to take it back by any means necessary. And guess what, brothers and sisters? He got it back. In the book of Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 40, it said that the heathens would come inside and try to corrupt the Torah, try to keep us in a state of confusion. Many in Israel are totally in confusion because they can't let go of the pagans and the Esau or the god of Esau, the heathens' god Esau, Jesus. The heathens, Esau god, Jesus. Let me say that right. They can't let it go. They'll change his name, they'll change his color, but they won't let him go. In the book of 1 Maccabees, it talks about, he said, that the wicked Israelites came among us. So it's no strange thing that they're still coming among us. Telling us, oh no, you can't be perfect. Oh no, everybody's sin. Oh no, you need the church. Oh no, you need religion. Oh no, you need to be a part of an organization. You have to find yourself. You have to identify yourself with other heathens, and that way your life will be easy. Don't you want an easy life? Don't you want a house and a car and 2 filthy dogs? Or maybe there's 1 dog and 2 filthy children. In Israel, like then, like now, nothing new under the sun, Solomon said, allow themselves to be, captivated by silver and gold and other dainties, to the point that they have no culture, so they cling onto a culture that's not their culture, and and now look at the situation that we have found ourselves in. Because just like those heathens, and the reason I called out what's going on in Iran, I want you to know how deeply diabolical these people are, brothers and sisters. These people are soulless. They don't care. They will do anything to reign supreme upon this earth. Brother Mendez sent me a picture yesterday uh, in the dog house. That's what I'm going to call it now, the White House. The outhouse, you can call it that. Y'all know the outhouse is. It's the grandfather of the porta potties. That's an outhouse. You know what a porta potty is? Outhouse. Porta potty was built off of the framework of a outhouse. So you can call it the dog house or the outhouse, because everybody in there are dogs and they're full of crap. But they were Trump, and they had all these clergymen, Christians all around him, from Paula White to Robert Jeffries, First Baptist Church of Dallas, and a bunch of other heathens. And they're all laying their hands on their devil Trump, and he's sitting there with his head down. Not down like and depressed, like, anoint me, oh Baal, oh Baal, oh Baal. And I can assure you, brothers and sisters, a lot of Israel was sitting right out there on the outskirts of watching this and thinking, oh, see, Yahuah can save anybody. See, anybody can, that's why I tell you, we love Jesus, because Jesus saved. Well, that same Jesus they were praying to is the same Jesus that give these people in the whereabouts to drop bombs on a people, not because these people were any threat to them, because these people would now bow down to them. Again, read Daniel chapter 3. You got your hammer, your sword, you know how to drill. Only because they wouldn't bow down to them. And it's not the first one. It's just since this devil, the head dog in charge over there, the two head dogs in charge, the one over in the occupied land of the Palestinians and the one that's in the occupied land of the true Israel, talking about America. Those two, vicious, beasts are being, allowed to cause this mayhem and this wickedness. And they got the support of the so-called religious people. I call them now religious psychopaths. You know what a psychopath is, and you know what I'm talking about. No remorse, no empathy, a parasitical, mentality. In other words, if they just want what they want, and an inability to live in peace with anybody. And if it was just those two devils, then you would kind of say, or those two dogs, you were like, okay, well that's those two dogs and the dogs they run with. But no, what's even worse, brothers and sisters, there's 8 million over there in that occupied land, and almost about 270 million. But if you count the Israelites on their side, and I mean the Hispanics and all the other, other tribes here in America that's on their side. And I'm not talking about Republican here, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about the religious ones here. You're probably talking about 350 million people. And none of them are saying anything. Oh, you got your pundits and they on these different platforms just running their mouth. Oh, the end of the world is coming and this and that. And oh, Trump is a man of God. Yahuah, true Trump. Yahuah can save anybody. They won't say Yahuah. They'll say Yahushua. But some of them will say Yahuah. He can save anybody. And then you got the other group, they just dismiss it. I don't care nothing. I ain't worrying about nothing like that. Y'all just trying to scare us. No, no one has to scare you. You're already a coward. You've already been compromised. You've already sold your soul. And yes, souls can be bought and traded. We call it just betrayal. They would call it vanity and falsehood. Again, we call them what? Again, religious psychopaths. And they have no ability, brothers and no sisters, or hindsight to see what's coming their way. Yahuah would never say he hate a whole nation of people without cause. And if Yahuah would not redeem them, why would any of us ever want to redeem, engage, subjugate ourselves to them? In any way, why would you do it? But because you do it because they don't have no true identity of who you are. And now you who they say you are. It no matter, you can go out there and say, well, I don't follow nobody and I don't run after nobody. Well, that's talk. Let's look at your life. What's your value system? What matters the most? If you're an Israelite in America, do you call yourself an American? Do you love everybody? Do you think that everybody's opinion matters? Then you're either a damn fool or you're caught up in sorcery and you don't know the difference. This is exactly why Yahuwah put leadership in place, put elders in place, watchmen in place to warn the people, to educate, teach, and inform the people so that they would not fall into that kind of trap of ignorance. Thinking that you know, but you have no idea. Measuring yourself, against the wind and trying to wonder or trying to ascertain why you can't take a position on anything. And when they measure themselves with women, brothers and sisters, everywhere, here, there, and everywhere. A culture less people is Israel. A subculture trying to embrace a heathen culture that truly despises them, but will never honestly tell them because they are liars. They lie. They lie for a living. That's their profession. They make their way in on others because they are clever and they're liars. They are liars. They will tell you anything that get in or have their way. And then later you'll find out what their true intentions were. Iran is finding that out right now. We have been finding that out if you live in America for at least the last 200, 300, 400, 500 years, give or take. If you're on the other continents, whether it be Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, South America, the diaspora, the islands, wherever you might be, it depends. Some of it goes back thousands of years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Colonization. Weaponizing, a people amongst the people. And if you think these beasts will change because somehow or another you think you're one of them, you're going to find out the hard way. They don't negotiate. They manipulate. They're not looking to have your company. They're looking to steal your soul. As the book warned, they would. And have. And this I say to you, Yasharel, Iran can teach us something. Smart men and women always know to never quit learning. So Iran could teach us something. You know what it is? From what I see, what Yahuwah has opened my eyes to see, to share with you, is what happens when a people have a culture. They have one. Persian, but one. Not Israel, but it's still a culture. These heathens have a culture. Their culture is scorched earth predators, and all of their citizenry don't open their mouth. 300 plus million people, and none of them, pretty much, they're all pretending like they care. But if they truly care, do you think this government would do all these things? We know why, the government officials are doing it, most of them, who are working on behalf of, the heathens in the stolen land they call Israel. We know that most of those people who are under the foot of those people are people who have been compromised. These people are the pedophiles. These people are the ones who are sex trafficking children. The Sound of Freedom. It's a movie. Check it out. What you're finding out is that the reason why Trump and Hesseg and all the rest of them are doing whatever they're told because Epstein kept records of how they actually live. what they were doing behind the scenes. When they were doing their government shutdowns, what was going on. They were getting down. He's got it all on record. Probably got them eating humans, raping little boys. Joel 3 said they would turn a boy into a whore, girl for a bottle of wine, torturing, trading them like trading cards, surviving the game, hunting them. I said surviving the game. There's another movie that's, how you say, art imitating life, called Surviving the Game. Check it out. If y'all remember the rapper Ice-T, he plays in there. And it's about these people who go into this lodge thinking they're going on this hunting safari and don't realize till it's far too late. They are part of the hunting safari, but they are the prey. Human prey. These people were doing this. If you go into these files that they won't let you see us redacted or whatever, who cares? But it's written in there, they were doing it, hunting human beings, really hunting poor and blacks, they say. Hunting poor people and Israelites. Poor from all over this earth, by the way, whether they were Israel or not. All these people coming up missing, nobody know where they went. Those people. And they were doing it back in the early 90s, by the way. We saw a document talking about it. And they never stopped. They're doing it to this very day. Somewhere on this flat earth today, it's happening. Happened last night. Will happen tonight. Probably happened to someone that you know that's been missing for a long time. You'll never see them again, most likely. And this is who we're up against, brothers and sisters. And our people, again, through their own ignorance, think that these people are the people that they ought to be looking towards or looking to for a sense of purpose. And if it was not true, then why do we use the education system to define intelligence? Smart. Why do we use their medical institutions to define what is health? Why did we use their financial institutions to establish financial well-being? Why would we use their government system, who is surely a system of thieves, crooks, mafia, whoremongers, as a form of government? Thieves, murders, going on right now. No one says anything about it. That really means what they're saying. Or they talk, but they're not going to do anything. Why do we allow their religion to preeminate or dominate? And you can't say that you don't. Some will say, well, I don't practice any religion. Do you practice the religious holidays? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Valentine's Day? Do you sacrifice the days where they are necromancy? Veterans Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July? Do you celebrate their days of the enslavement of people? Juneteenth, Labor Day? Do you celebrate their gods? President's Day, Columbus Day, Lincoln's Day, Dr. King Day? Because if you're doing any of those things, then you're not the Hebrew boys, you're not Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You're not taking the stand that they took. You're not taking the stand the Iranians have taken. And what we can learn from the Iranians is the same thing we could have learned if we were in our Torah establishing our culture, or reestablishing, better said, our culture. Because that's what the DFG family is doing. Then you would recognize that leadership matters. I put this down here in a note here, brothers. This is what I already said. Iran is showing true loyalty by standing with their leadership. Yisrael has almost zero loyalty and refuses to stand up for their leaders. I'm talking about leaders like myself. Leaders who are, reconstitutionalizing our Torah. When I say reconstitutionalizing, it is reestablishing it, bringing it back. And most of our people, they look at that like, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. I'm not religious. Well, maybe you're not religious. This has nothing to do with religion. Neither are we. Neither am I. But I do care enough about my people. I do care enough about who we are. I do care enough about what Yahuah says that we are. A peculiar people. People better than any other people. And you got many idiots among our people. Oh, no, brother. That's just no. I'm not anything. I'm just something, but I don't know what that is. I'm just anything. But they don't use the word anything. They just don't stand for anything. But they lust after the vanity. Again, as David said in Psalms. What did he say? They trust in the vanity, the falsehood, the lies. And then they wonder how they can so be easily taken apart. I was in the conversation earlier this week, and the conversation came up about things that our people have contributed in terms of inventions. Traffic lights, refrigerators, hell, even a lawnmower, believe it or not. But in that conversation, the one thing that, I emphasize, what does it matter if you own none of it? It's the old saying, you're pissing in the wind, calling it rain. That's not how you identify yourself. You identify yourself as by what you're able to create and keep. And not you personally, but as a people. And that can never happen without a culture. And you can't have a culture without a constitution, or one that's ignored. You may have one, but you ignore the Constitution. So therefore, you ignore your own self. You made yourself invisible. That's what David said. We were hidden amongst the heathen, Psalms 83. Yahuah gave us a constitution that they've been trying to destroy, brothers and sisters, for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and they're not able to do it. Noah had our Torah constitution. Abraham had our Torah constitution. We know Moses had our Torah constitution. We know David had our Torah constitution. We know the Maccabees had our Torah constitution. And we today, the very small righteous remnant of Yasharel, guess what? We have the Torah, our constitution. And just like they fought for it and won, because Yahuah was with them, we're fighting for it now. And yeah, the struggle is real, and the battle is real, and the pain is real, but so is Yahuah. He never said that we didn't have to fight for this. He never said that. He said, you've got to fight for it. But he reminded us, he said that I am a man of war. Exodus chapter 15 and 3. He said, I will destroy them because guess what? I'm a flaming fire. Deuteronomy 4 and 24. Zechariah 14 and 12 said, you know what? You will see one day that fire come when I melt their eye sockets in their heads, and eyes in their eye sockets, and their tongue in their mouths, and their flesh off their skin. He said, you'll see then. Joel reminded, he said that time when the moon, would turn to blood, and the sun, would be darkness, days of darkness, weeks of darkness, months of darkness. So you'll see. He said, I have declared it, and I'm going to do it. What did we learn in the Deuteronomy, the book of Numbers, that Yahuah is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent for lying. So he said 23:19, he said he's going to do it. And he's going to do it, brothers and sisters. But unfortunately, he's going to do it to many of you, brothers and sisters, because you can't get out of your head how much these heathens despise or You can't get out of your head that how much these heathens despise you. You think you're loved because you called by a national name. But to them, they look at you like you're just a shame. You're the one that the family don't want to talk about. When they introduce all their children, they like David, they forget about you. Talking about Yashua. Remember when Samuel went to anoint a new king after Yahuah was done with the compromised Saul, King Saul? He said, I want you to go to a neighbor of yours, which he meant Yashua. He sent him to Jesse's house. Jesse told him about everybody in the house. You can read about that in 1 Samuel chapter 16. Jesse introduced all of his sons except for David. And it's interesting that, while they were all enjoying dinner, David was out there putting in the work. David was doing the dirty work, as they say. He was out there, with the sheep. But who were looking for? The one was out there was putting that work and doing the dirty work. And whereas Samuel couldn't see him, Yahuah did. And I'll say this to many of you, my brothers and sisters, just because people are not recognizing you or despising you or looking down their noses at you or want to call your name, be bold. Don't be afraid of them. Come out of the closet. Don't hide in the closet. Don't worry about their opinions. Why should you care about opinions of people that, that don't care about you? One of my dear sisters told me that good while back. She said, why do you care about people who don't care about you? And, of course, I didn't want to believe that the people that was being identified did not care about me. This is a lesson. Listen. Some of you are facing the same thing. I didn't want to accept the fact that these people didn't care about me because these people have been around and with me for some cases over a decade, sometimes longer than that. Hell, some of them were my, blood family members. Would show up here and there. But it was true insight. It was true wisdom that was passed on. It said, no, you got to stop caring about them who, do evil and hate Yahuah. Because that's what it is. If you're doing whatever you want to do, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're doing it ignorantly. If you're living a life absent of this Torah, then you're going to get destroyed. I don't care how intelligent you think you are. I don't care what you think you know. I don't care. None of that even matters. You're going to get destroyed. You just don't know it. You're ignorant. What it's called. I remember when I was coming up, they would call these people educated fools. There are a bunch of educated fools all around us. Got the heathens education because that's how they mark things. Because they were truly intelligent, then they would know what the truth is. If they were truly intelligent, they would seek out the truth, not any truth, the truth. What is the truth? Yahuwah's word is truth. This Torah is truth. Even the heathens, if they had any intelligence, they would do it. But see, they allow mankind to establish, what is good and what is evil. And what did the book tell us in the book of, what did we learn from Isaiah? Isaiah said, woe unto them who call good evil and evil good. Dark light and light dark. And if you think about it, you say, well, no one intentionally goes around and some do, calling evil good and good evil. Yes, some intentionally do, but then you got a whole different subgroup of people who are too ignorant to even know the difference between what is good and bad. They just think if everybody gets to do whatever they want, that's got to be good. Well, I'm going to tell you something, my friend. You don't know what you're talking about. That's why you ought to be over here with us learning. There's no such thing doing whatever you want to do, and that's a good thing. That's a cultureless thing and makes you vulnerable to anybody that has a culture. It doesn't matter what kind of culture they have. At least they're all like-minded with the same objective. That's what a culture is. Like-minded with the same objective. But still independent. So you're interdependent and independent at the same time. Well, how can it be? In other words, I still have my same mind. I still have a choice, but I choose to be a part of a group because I know that in that group it makes us stronger. In that group, my children will survive. In that group, we can pass down knowledge and own things that we create instead of talking about the things we created. This Torah is the foundation for which this earth was built upon, brothers and sisters. Adam had the Torah. Yes, Adam. It was this very Torah that Adam was able to be forgiven for the transgression in the garden. He didn't need no lamb. He didn't have to kill no lamb. That's a lying heathen doctrine. The lamb was for clothing. It says that the lamb, killing of that lamb was to put clothing on them because they were about to go in a place outside of Yah's protection. But he still gave them his grace. That's why the book said 2/3 of us will be tried through the fire. Sometimes we'll feel like Yahuah is not with us, as Psalm 4 says, but he is there. He will let us go through some things, brothers and sisters, to be able to for the purification process. What is that? So you can see what your potential is if you get you out of the way. We call it looking in the mirror. Adam was given grace even though he had fallen, and his grace was the Torah. It is there. The lambskin had nothing to do with some Jesus or some shedding of blood without the remission of sins. It was a covering. It was actually clothing, just like clothing. All it was the Torah that allowed him to stay afloat, to allow his seed to stay afloat. And this is how it passed down. How do you think everybody else got their hands on the Torah? How do you think that Cain and Abel, when they were talking about giving their offerings, where do you think they got that from? They both were giving a tithe. How could Cain, how could Cain and Abel know about a tithe, giving a tenth of what they had, if there was no Torah? And who was their father? Adam. But see, these are the things that, as the book said, we have eyes to see but don't see, ears to hear but don't hear, because it's not emphasized. Because they're promoting the heathen god, Jesus, when they use that very scripture about, killing of that lamb, covering them. And so they omit that there was a Torah there because they want to make the Torah seem as though it's some type of, tool that man cannot keep. Well, it seems to me if the man could not keep it, then Yahuah would have never allowed it to exist even to this very moment. You can look in the book of Jubilees, chapter 2, it says the Torah is forever, brothers and sisters. Forever, for all generations. Now, if you don't believe that, then you're a blasphemer because you're saying Yahuah is a liar. Or at worst, you just a puppet of a government system of religion that's got you so far in divination you don't know which way is up. You're letting cliches, nobody's perfect. Cliches, everybody is sin. You're allowing that to become a doctrine. Nobody has the whole truth. All sorcerous divination lies. To keep our people from being united, to keep our people from being single-minded, to keep our people from being, a blessed people. Because Yahuah is not going to mix clean with unclean. Not going to happen. If your heart is wicked, it doesn't matter what you say. And all the religion in the world doesn't have the power to change one thing according to Yahuah's word. He doesn't hear their prayers. They can pray over Trump and lay their hands on him. Look what he does. Look what his government does. Look what the people of his government does. And you can see right now, other than talk, nothing. So I'll say this again to my dear brothers and sisters, those of you who love Yahuah, those of you who are waking up. He said a very small few of us would, not everybody. He said not every man will be gifted enough and intelligent enough to gain this truth. He said, not every woman will be gifted enough and blessed enough to attain this truth. He said, no, not everybody, just a very small few. He said, but that very small few, get ready. Get ready to be attacked in every way a person can be attacked. Get ready to be shamed. Get ready to be called out of your name, ostracized, demonized, called a racist, called prejudice, called fool, called that you're in a cult, called that, backwards. And I'll say to you, my brothers, if those things offend you, you're in big trouble. But that's just the first wave of hatred that's coming. There's another wave that's coming. And this is the ferocity and the viciousness of these devils and these dogs. Because they know they can never establish what they want to establish as long as we're here. See, we're the thorn in the side. I'm talking about the truth. Yashrael in the truth. Not just Yashrael, but Yashrael in this Torah exclusively. We're a stone in their sides. See, meaning you don't see it because you don't understand the spiritual realm. You just go with things you see in the natural realm. And this is why Yahuah said you need to open up your eyes and open up your ears. Otherwise, you'll never see it. You'll be gauging everything based off of what you have learned. You'll never know what you don't know because Yahuah would never reveal it to you. He said, I reveal my secrets to my servants. You're not a servant of Yahuah, you'll never know these things. The deep mysteries, the dark mysteries is what Solomon called them in Proverbs 1. Nothing dark about it, it's just that means a blind people will never see it. A self-centered people, or people who are so indoctrinated they don't even know they're indoctrinated. That's darkness. They'll defend evil and curse good. I'll say it again. They'll defend evil and curse that which is good. And they never realize when you read Isaiah chapter 5, say, woe unto them, that Yahuah is talking about you. And they have no clue he's talking about them. They think he's talking about something else. They're reading the book. But see, that's what the book said. The book said, woe unto them that do good and call good evil and evil good. And woe unto them who call darkness light and light darkness. And the book says, and the book says, and the book says. And all they're doing, brothers and sisters, is reading the book with their eyes closed. They are blind. They don't even realize that they're reading about themselves. They have no idea that's what they're doing. They'll never stop and consider that. That's why we call them psychopaths. A psychopath does not have the ability to self-assess. A psychopath does not have the ability to have remorse. A psychopath does not have the emotional wellness to be what? Empathetic for other people. No, they don't possess that. Cognitively, they're detached from the living. That's why Solomon said, Yahuah has said he has marked them for death. And he said that sooner than later, they will be destroyed and there will be no remedy. Solomon told us in Proverbs 29:1, say there's no hope for them. But they don't know that. They have no clue. They just read the book like words, brothers and sisters. This book is a fire. It's a purifier. This is how we're going to know who is Yahuah and who isn't. Just like in the days of Noah. We studied that on last Wednesday night Tanakh study. Joshua chapter 6. You should have been there. But we studied it. And you would have seen easy how these people did not read the signs. They did not read the indicators. They had no clue what was going on around them. None whatsoever. Until it was far too late. Oh yeah, Noah was warning them. He was telling them. And everything he was telling them was happening. But they were like, I ain't got no time for that. Now you're just trying to scare me. Or you're just trying to get my money. You're just trying to, manipulate me. You're just trying to, have sex. Them damn devils go that damn low, brothers and sisters. That low. To say that a culture that is our culture, that's been our culture for thousands and thousands of years, they have the audacity to spit on it and call it, sexual lust. But you know why they could do that? Because they're filthy pigs. They're two-legged dogs. They don't have no understanding of a culture. But so you don't remove the ancient landmarks. You know what that means? That's not talking about a building. When they say you don't remove the ancient landmarks, it's talking about the culture. The culture stays in place. Just because you got caught up or you got introduced with a subculture that wasn't your own, does not make us who are coming back to the truth weirdos. It makes you the weirdo, you the freak, you the fool. You just don't know it. And I feel sorry for you that you don't know it. I don't feel sorry for what's going to happen to you. You deserve it. You heard the truth. I know you have no idea what's going to happen to you. You really think, they think, brothers and sisters, that, everything, nothing's going to change. It's just going to keep on going and going and going and going. But they're for weird, just like those people finding out who trusted these heathens all over this earth. And there's nothing to these heathens all over. Again, you can look at what they're doing to Iran, dropping bombs. What did Trump say? I'm going to drop more bombs on them. He said, I'm going to beat them into submission. 90 million people, brothers and sisters, what this man is saying. 90 million people don't care about their lives. You think about your life matters. And you think that Yahuah is not going to judge a country who's over there praying for these devils? Because if you go into these churches, you are part of that foolishness, whether you were in that White House or not. If you're associated with religion in any kind, or you holding on to anything that's a part of their culture, like the New Testament, you're just as guilty as they are. It's called guilty by association. No, you didn't pull the trigger, but you damn sure set up the murder. And Yahuah sees everything. He don't forget anything. It's all being written down. And the one thing that Yahuah hates more than anything else is a hypocrite. He said with their mouths, they say one thing. He said with their hearts, something totally different. This is what Ezekiel was talking about. They love to hear the word. They dance to the word. They do all these gyrations. Look like they're religious. They wear their right, they dress proper. They really don't, but they pretend like they do. They find excuses to justify it anytime they don't want to. But he said, Yahuah said he's writing it all down with a fine pen. The angels are. That's Enoch 104. But you can also read about it in the book of Jeremiah 17:1. It says it's all being recorded. It says nobody's getting away with anything. Nothing. Now that might scare them, but that doesn't scare us, not the righteous remnant. Hell, we like praise Yahuah. Keep on writing. I'm gonna have you gonna have pages and pages and pages on what I'm doing and what I'm living for. That's what the righteous are saying. Write it down, Elohim. I know my reward will be great. I know I'll be blessed here, as David said. And he said, and when I leave here, I'm going to dwell with Yahuah forever. And David said, I will be able to do it in the presence of my enemies. I don't have to hide. I don't have to be ashamed of what this Bible says is permissible. This Torah. I don't have to be ashamed of that. And me and a few others, we're going to let you know we're not ashamed of it. And we don't care what you think. You the fool, not us. You're the one walking in fear, selfishness, jealousy, and envy, and pettiness. You'll get left behind, fool. Well, why are you calling people? The books, the word fool, you need to, again, that's why you need to be studying with us, because you have no idea. Go read, I'll give you a quick one. Just go read Psalms 14:1 and see if you see the word fool there. Then go over there and read Jeremiah 5:21 and see if you see the fool there. And then go over and read the book of Proverbs chapter 1 verse 21, 22. 21:22. See if you see the word fool there. F-O-O-L. Just since you so offended. Just go read for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can, because I can assure you what I'm talking about is in this book. What you talking about is how you feel. See, if you've been studying with us, you would know of a forefather, a righteous king, even though he didn't have a kingdom, by the name of Eleazar. And how that he was challenged by a wicked king to abandon his people, to abandon this Torah, to save himself, or to manipulate it, to preserve himself. After all, man got to eat. Woman got to eat, right? But he didn't. You can read about that in 4 Maccabees chapter 8. The last thing the man said before he was taken off this earth, he said, no. He said, you never compromise the truth for how you feel. He said, you don't use emotions to, attack reasoning. And for that, he was called a righteous man. For that, he was called a king. Because he didn't put himself before Yahuah's Torah. And he understood that there was a nation of people looking to him for guidance. Talking about our own people. He thought about the young people. He said, well, if I do this thing, then how am I going to hold them accountable for the things that they shouldn't be doing? And so he refused to be a poor example for self-preservation, like so many compromised Israelites are out there today, especially the older ones. Not all of you, but far too many of you. I guess you'll just continue on your path going to hell to be right, even though you're wrong. And that's going to be the sad epitaph on your tombstone. Could have been right, but was determined to be wrong. Could have been right, but was determined to be wrong. So yes, this world is going to hell in a hay basket. There's no question about that. Whether you recognize it or not, just like in the days of Noah, they couldn't see it till it was far too late. Then they realized I should have listened. They told, no, we're going to listen to you. We should have listened. Noah said, no, you should have listened to me. He said, for 120 years, I tried to tell you, but you didn't want to hear it because what I said did not line up to what you believed. And don't tell me there weren't anybody who loved Yahuah on there. There were people, they knew about Yahuah because they even told Noah. When Noah got on that ark, brothers and sisters, and that door shut, Yahuah shut that door, Noah couldn't open, Yahuah shut him in there. When Yahuah put that shield of protection around you, nothing can penetrate it. But he ain't put no shield around you except you be 100% obedient. There was an example in that story where a lioness and her 2 cubs tried to get in that ark. They ran that lioness off because she didn't have a male with her. Now that's in the book. Even Noah was like, damn, what that was all about. Because she was trying to do her own thing. But the people, it was just an example of how people are today, trying to do their own thing. Their own, version of what is right. But it's not going to work in the end. It might work for man, but it's not going to work for Yahuah. That's why it's called vanity. You're wasting your time. Putting money, what did Hagar say, brothers and sisters? Hagar chapter 1, verse 6, they're putting money in bags with holes in it. 5 through 7, Hagar says it. So you're putting money and saying they won't even reconsider. So they're not going to consider what is getting said. No way. They ain't changing. They're ready to go to hell before they change. So the people in Noah's day don't think that they did not know the truth, because when Noah got locked up in an ark, they told, okay, we believe now. Believe what? Noah has stopped preaching. Hell, Noah hadn't preached to them. Get this, brothers. So think about this. If you study with us and you would already know this, or if you're reading with your eyes open, not reading with your eyes closed, Noah stopped preaching 5 years before the judgment. 5 years. He was building the ark. But yet when that ark was finished and that judgment started to come upon them, they went and told him, oh, we believe now. We accept it now. What you said, yeah, we repent now. So how could they say they believe or accepted what he was saying or repent if they did not know already? Think about it. That's why I said when you read this book, you got to read this book with your eyes open, brothers and sisters. The truth is right before you. You just can't see it. As it was then, so it is now. They know the truth, brothers and sisters. People hear what we're teaching. But just like Ezekiel said, they love to hear the word, they're just not going to do it until it's too late, because he said that a day will come, they're going to wish they had listened to him. This is what Ezekiel said. So they will know there was a prophet among them, and they're going to regret that they did not listen. Go read Ezekiel 33:33. It's right there. And Yahuah said there will always be a prophet for the people. He said always, because he's not a liar. He said there will always be a prophet. You let these heathens tell you it was cut off for the church's sake. Well, everything is different now. That was back then. What is back then? For an eternal creator, what is back then to eternal creator? Can you explain to us, with all of your intelligence, what about eternity that's way back there? Do you realize that eternity means time is suspended? There is no back there, just like there's no up there or out there. It's all here. It's always where man is. And yes, he's going to end it abruptly soon. But there's no such thing as used to be a back then, or Old Testament, all of that. That's craziness. That's heathen talk. Who you think taught Old Testament? That's Christian talk. I ain't no Christian. Well, why are you talking about the Old Testament? You don't see nothing in this book say old nothing. When it comes down to you, say your whole word is a purification. It's a word. It's a never changing word. It's everlasting. What's old about everlasting? Again, heathen talk. I don't believe in nothing. Why you talking about the Old Testament then? Obviously, it got you convinced, because otherwise you wouldn't have said anything like, the book say don't remove the ancient landmarks, mean that nothing changes. It's the same. Man change. Yahuah never changes. What in Malachi 3:6 says what? He says, I am Yahuah. Therefore, Yasharel, us, will not be destroyed because I change not. If he said, if I did change, we'd be gone, brothers and sisters. There would be no more, Israelites here. You can call them whatever you want to call them. You can call them Haitians. You can call them Jamaicans. You can call them, African Americans. You can call them, from the Barbados. Or you can call them Bahamians. You can call them whatever you want to call. But I can tell you one thing about it. We're still here. You can call them Papua New Guineans. Hell, you can call them English. We're scattered around this whole entire earth. Everywhere there's a small remnant of us. But the time is coming that he's gathering us from the four corners of this earth. Corner. It's interesting enough because I decided to purchase this particular little, artifact here. And if you can see, brothers and sisters, see the truth is hidden in plain sight. All of us, most of you in America, maybe other places on the earth, remember the snow globes? This is what this is. Watch this. You see the snow falling? But you see that the firmament that's over this earth? And you notice it's on the books. Interesting enough, 2 books. Probably Quran and Torah, Isaac, Ishmael, or Ishmael, Isaac, Esau, Jacob, however you want to say it. And see this little hourglass here? It's interesting enough. They have it next to this. Earth is flat, four corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 corners, right? Earth sitting on 4 corners with a firmament over the top with an hourglass letting us know everything is set to an appointed time. And see, when this hourglass drains, it's over. You see how it's draining? Slowly, you can't tell. You have to really pay attention to see it's draining. But it is. See, now it's gone. That's how quick it's going to happen. And this is also telling you that they know the earth has a firmament. They can't go beyond that firmament. And they know it's flat, sitting on 4 corners. And they know that knowledge is in these books that they want to tell you are not, to be read or, read it with blinders on your eyes. Who are you going to listen to? Because whoever you listen to, including yourself, that's going to determine what's going to happen to you. So we're here. Our purpose is to teach, inform, and educate, to remind each and every one of my brothers and sisters. And again, to tell you, don't worry about what people say. These people are always having something to say. The upper class are liars and sorcerers, and the lower class are full of divination, religious psychopaths. But then there's a very small remnant of us in these last days, as Daniel told us in chapter 12. Daniel said what? What did Gabriel tell Daniel? And Daniel tells him, he said, Daniel, seal the book, close the book to the time of the end. The time of the end is what he said. He said, Daniel, close the book to the time of the end. What does he mean? The hourglass is going to run out. He said, many shall go to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. But he also said that, but remember this, then he said, but the wise, he said, they will understand. That's the righteous remnant. That's the truly educated. He said, but the wicked, they will not understand, and they will keep on doing or living the life they've been living. Nothing changes with them. Stagnant. Until Yahuah comes and burn everything down and them right along with it. But he's going to renew this heaven, and he's going to renew the earth. The firmament is going to be renewed. But when it comes down to man on this earth, he ain't renewing nothing but the righteous remnant. Wherefore Ezra chapter 8 says that in verse 3, it said, well, the world was made for many, but only a few would be saved. And they'll sit there and say, well, I don't believe in all that. But you can see mayhem going on all over the world. We're finding out that these people are torturing, enslaving, again, surviving and gaming people. Every kind of thing you could think of going on. The sound of freedom, children, sex trafficking, children, I mean little children. The number one black market industry on this earth is children who have been sold into human sex trafficking. I'm talking about 7, 8, 9-year-olds. Some of them even younger than that. And the world just looking the other way, pretending like it's not happening. Cannibalism everywhere. Feeding people non-food for food now. Pausing. And you're saying nothing is happening in all of your wisdom. An education system that would teach your children who are born one gender, that gender doesn't matter. They can be whatever gender they want to be, although the natural autonomy, not autonomy, but autonomy, clearly states if he has a penis, it's a boy, and a vagina, it's a girl. And if there's something else going on down there, well, that's an anomaly, and you let Yahuah judge that. But whatever is preeminent about it, that's who they are. And they love to throw those kind of curveballs. See, they'll try to throw that kind of stuff like a curveball. To throw you off the track. Try to say that Yahuah is imperfect. That's not anything to do with Yahuah. That has something to do with men. Men experimentation. Chromosomes getting mixed up and messed up. Probably because of the food that was eaten. So it's not an imperfect creator. It's a wicked man, an imperfect man that don't know the Creator that causes that. But see, we're not supposed to be intelligent enough to reason this way, right? See, I didn't have to go to school to explain something so easily explainable. Yahuah gives knowledge to those who trust and put their faith in him. But the book says, blessed is the man who trusts in Yahuah. Trust in him with all your heart. He says, lean not to your own understanding. Means lose yourself. In all your ways acknowledge him. Means forget your old ways. Learn his way. And he'll direct your path. But a world that's dead set on hating him because he won't cater to them, it has to be destroyed. If you were really, truly intelligent, you would understand that. Because you should be asking yourself, what's next? They're going to have them mixing them with humans, with animals? But I mean mixing, mating them, reproducing with man and animals. But then again, if you were studying with us, you would already know they've been doing that for thousands of years. The book of Enoch talks about it. Jasher talks about it. Mixing species, mixing different kinds. You can read about that in Jasher chapter 4. And I want to say Jasher 69 talks about Sespa, one of Enoch's sons, Esau's sons, was up in the mountains where they're from. And he saw this beast at the top, he was a man, but the bottom he was at the body like a wild animal. But this is where it goes. And this is why Yahuah has to destroy it. Or there will be no such thing as a human, what you think would be, anymore. In other words, they're trying to eliminate what Yahuah created and create something different on this earth. And they've succeeded to some degree. But it's only to the degree that Yahuah is tolerating it. And I can assure you, just like that hourglass ran out, it's about to run out. And so they can dally around brothers and sisters and get caught up in this and caught up in that and saying this and saying that. And, oh, I can't believe they're doing that. Oh, they're nasty. They're this and that. It's interesting, a nastiness of people who have the audacity to talk about what happens in certain cultures with venereal disease and STDs will never acknowledge that the number one carriers of STDs are Israelite heterosexual women who lack discretion and go from man to man to man. And men who lack discretion, who go to woman to woman to woman in these streets. They never acknowledge what the Mormons are going on, the church of the Church of Latter-day Saints, those heathens over there. They never acknowledge over there is no venereal diseases. There aren't any STDs. There aren't any type of what you would call sexually transmitted disease. Look it up. And then look up their lifestyle. But see, when you want to believe a lie, you've got to find something to make that lie believable. And so this is what the heathens or the psychopaths in our culture does. Not in our culture, because they don't have a culture, but of our people. A culture-less people, I'll say that the right way. See, a culture-less people have to just make up stuff. You know what I'm saying? They got to invent the terror. They got to invent the horror for their own insecurities. And it's sad. But it is what it is. And Yahuah will, destroy them for perverting his truth, calling good evil. And if there's any consolation to those of you who believe that way, here's the consolation. You're not alone. You got a whole lot of company. As a matter of fact, you have so much company, hell's going to enlarge itself for all of y'all to get in there. But to the fighters out there, the righteous remnant out there, let me say this to you. We have the answer. Yahuah has given us his way long time ago. We just lied and told that, first of all, that it had nothing to do with us, the book. Then secondly, that when they thought that maybe one day they would learn to read and understand it, so let's tell them the book is no longer applicable. You can read it, but read it like a storybook. Don't read it like it's you. Read it like it's about somebody else. What Leopold told them to do, the missionaries, when he sent them to the Congo. So let them believe in their God, but just tell them it's make-believe, though. It's not really real. It's a myth. Oh, just tell them that part is their Torah, that part, the Tanakh. He tells them, no, that's done away with. We have a new covenant now, a new promise. And the new covenant is that y'all supposed to be our slaves. Y'all supposed to do what you're told. And if we hit you, turn the other cheek. And if we take from you, let us take everything from you. And if you get something, understand you shouldn't own it. We need to own it because we know better what to do with it than you guys, because you're a bunch of wild savages. So stay in place. Jesus will come and save you. And he's still repeating those lies, even to this very time. The heathens are preaching it in Israel. It's, how do you say? Bowing down to it. I already gave you some of the examples. Whether they be their holidays, their feast days, their churches, their synagogues, whatever it is, their education, medical, military, financial, whatever you're allowing to dictate and govern your life is what it is. But me and my righteous brothers and sisters, we've decided that nothing governs us anymore but Yahuah and his Torah. Period. Just like that. Mic drop. You know what I'm saying? Got a mic or whatever, but I ain't dropping it. Oh, you go there. Mic drop. In other words, that's how we're standing. And we don't care what anybody thinks. If you're busy worrying about what people think, then you're not worthy of the grace and the mercy and the redemption of Yahuah. Just so you know. You're not worthy of him. Well, how do you know that, Elder? Let's do a little research here. Open up our history book, and I want you to go over to, well, you should already have it open, but go over to Proverbs chapter 28. It says, the wicked flee when no man pursues them, but the righteous are as bold as lions. For the transgressions of a land, many are the princes thereof. Talking about all these kings and all of these people, all of this leadership, all of these institutions that I told you about, including these secret societies, Masons and Elks and Kiwanis and Eastern Star and, and Deltas and Alphas and, all of those groups, every last one of them. Any associated groups, Straightway, all of these things, those are cults. Straightway is a cult. It's just like Freemasons, or for example, the Elks or something. That's nothing but a cult. And we know what religion is. Those are Baal temples. Talking about Geno Jennings and all of these people, all of you who follow them, gathering of Christ Church, all of you people, these camps, again, these are nothing but cults. He goes on to say, but the righteous are as bold as lions. For the transgression of the land are the princes thereof. But a man of understanding and knowledge, the state thereof, shall be prolonged. His mind will continue to increase and to grow. Daniel said the wise would understand, right, brothers and sisters? But the wicked would not. Verse 3, it says, a poor man that oppresses the poor is like a sweeping rain that leaves no food. This part here. They that forsake the Torah praise the wicked. But those who guard the Torah, he says what? Yahuah will contend with them. Means he will bless us, he will protect us, he will guide us. Just as he protected Adam with it. Just like as he protected Noah with it. Just like he protected Abraham with it. Just like he protected David with it. David went on in Psalms 119:72, said what? The Torah of Yahuah is worth all the silver and gold. Thousands of silver and gold. And he's going to protect us. Yeah, we'll go through challenges. Yeah, we'll take what the world considers as losses. But Yahuah will see us through it all. He said when the enemy comes in like a flood, Isaiah 59:19 says, I'm going to sweep you up. He said, I'm going to put up under you a life raft. He said, yeah, it's going to get shaky. It's going to get tumultuous. But he said, but I'm going to be with you. You can believe that. Just remember to seek me. Don't take your eyes off me. Trust in me. With all your heart. Don't lean to your own understanding. Again, Proverbs chapter 5 through 3 verses. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5, verse 7. Do you know that when Noah and his family were in the ark, that because of the rain and the wave, and really a serious hurricane, doesn't say hurricane, but a hurricane did come while they were in the ark, and it was tossing, the thing was turning. They thought they were going to die. They literally thought they were going to die in the ark. Even though Yahuah had sealed them in, Yahuah was protecting them, Yahuah was watching over them, they got hit with a hurricane or some high force winds and rains. I don't know if that's not a hurricane. Somebody need to tell us what it is. It was so bad, everything was hollering and falling, and Noah was crying, and his sons and daughters were son-in-law. They were all crying. Everybody was upset. They thought they were going to die. Literally, brothers, they thought they were going to die. But Noah remembered something. He said, you know what? No, but I have Yahuah on my side. It was Yahuah who put me in this ark. This is Yahuah who sealed me in this ark. And it's Yahuah who can save and redeem me in this ark. Because that ark was symbolic of the truth, of obedience. And guess what? When Noah prayed, just like he said here, Yahuah heard his prayer. If we go down to verse 9, he said, he that turns away, he said, whoever keeps the Torah is a wise son. This is verse 7. He said, whoever keeps the Torah is a wise man. And in his wisdom, instead of him, breaking out the window, trying to escape it, no, he prayed. And Yahuah heard his prayer. And Yahuah calmed those waters. He redeemed them, restored them, saved them, blessed them. Because a year or so later, when they came off that ark, the whole world was awaiting them, refreshed, renewed. And it's going to happen again. This is what 4 Ezra 83 is talking about. But here, the world was made for many, brothers and sisters, but only a few will be saved. That's exactly what it's talking about. He's going to do it again. Remember, we're still living in the days after the flood, or the days of Noah. It's still here. We're the progenitors of them. We're still here. Yah hasn't judged this earth the second time yet, the final time. He's judged it, but he hasn't, the final time, he hasn't destroyed it yet. It's being judged without question. Why again, we talked about all that a little earlier, right? The mayhem, the murder, the human trafficking, child trafficking. As I stated, child trafficking is the #1 industry, black market industry. They're over $150 billion a year in children sex trafficking, brothers and sisters. Children. And you think this is a great place to live? What culture would you want to be a part of? Because you're a part of something. Whether you Agree to it or disagree to it. You are. I don't follow nobody. You lying. Yes, you do. You following somebody. I only follow Yahuah. That's another lie. Because if you're not keeping this Torah, you're not following Yahuah. I don't trust in no man. I just trust in Yahuah. Then why you still dressing the way you dressing, sister? You don't follow no man. You follow Yahuah. Then, brother, why aren't you in this Torah? Why aren't you with us, like-minded brothers, in this Torah as you're instructed to be? One to put 1,000 fight, 2 10,000 to fight. There's a reason. Let's talk about it a little bit. Come on, let's go over to the book of Deuteronomy. Let's go over to the Torah. Since we're talking about the Torah, I've talked about the Torah now for what? An hour and a half almost. Let's go over to the Torah. I want to take you over to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12. 12 or 13, let's see. Yeah, chapter 12. Hallelujah. This is what I want you to think about here. Deuteronomy chapter 12, my dear brothers and sisters. I'll start reading at verse 28. It reads, Guard and hear all these words which I command you, that it may go well with you and with your children after you forever, when you do that which is good and right in the sight of Yahuah. He says, Guard and hear all these words which I command you. How can you dismiss this Torah and say you love Yahuah and he's blessing you? Are you calling him a liar? No, that's blasphemous. And just like Proverbs 28:4 says that if you go against this Torah, we are supposed to go against you. David said the same thing in the book of Psalms 139, when he says that I hate those that hate you. That's what David said to man, to before you. He said, Yahuah, I hate everybody that hates you. He said, they are my enemies, those that hate you. And how is it determined if one hates Yahuah or not, brothers and sisters? Do you keep these commandments? Or you run around here lying to everybody, talking about nobody can because you won't. That somebody else died for your sins. Yet Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 3 says you died for your own sins. And if Yahuah does not change, why did you let the heathens God Jesus tell you that he did? And now you're damned. You're trapped. You're confused. You're between two opinions. So you don't know which way to turn, like a trapped rat. And sooner or later, Yahuah going to take a big club and crush your skull. Like we do with a rat, is what I'm saying. And you have nobody to blame but yourself, because you choose to listen to the heathens. You wouldn't listen to the prophet. You wanted to challenge the prophet. You want to debate the prophet. You want to what about? We talked about it the other night. It's not a game of Jeopardy over here. My name is not Alex Trebek, whatever his name is. He's dead any damn way. I'm living and alive. Not a game show. And I'm damn sure not an entertainer. You know, he said our children will be blessed forever and ever if we kept this Torah. And although we were in ignorance, many of us, when our children were children, there's a new generation of children. Francesca, Noah, to name two. There's another. We call her Dab. But Dab is already working it out with Yahuah. Hallelujah. And there will be more until Yahuah comes back. And they will be taught the right way. Because we're going to see to it. Talking about the very small righteous remnant of us. And then if they grow up of age and can reproduce themselves, they're going to teach their children. And if not in the world to come, they'll do it. Don't say there ain't no new world to come. There is a new world to come. You better read this book. You believe in lies. You believe in sorcery. I don't believe in no inner world. Then you're a damn fool. You got that from somebody. I can assure you, you weren't born with that knowledge. That knowledge was transformed into you. You just missed it. They caught you by the neck and strangled it down your throat and forced it down your throat. And now you're regurgitating it like you know something. No, you don't. You just think you do. You need to be over here again with us learning something for real. Something that can change your life. Not just some information. But let's continue on here. He said, verse 29, Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 29, it said, when Yahuah shall cut off the nations from before you, wherever you go to possess them, and you shall succeed them, and you shall dwell in their land. Say the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the just. Yeah, they think they're getting it all and they think they have it all. But it's, again, like the hourglass. The sand is draining. Time is running out for them. And that's why they're so desperate. Why you think they're running all over the place, murdering and killing to steal their resources? That's what the thing about Iran. They ain't about nuclear weapons. They want the resources. They want that traffic, that water highway. The Strait of Hormuz. They want that. Whoever controls that controls the world's economy. And they know that. It's a desperate move of a desperate nation or desperate people. And they got their little proxies, their little compromised heathens who are going to do their bidding for them. It's going to backfire on them. Iranians are not going to fall for this. I can assure you. But again, I only brought that up, truth be told, brothers and sisters, just to bring you present and let you know these people don't care. They'll kill 90 million people. You think they would spare you if you got in the way or you were trying to keep something from them that they wanted? Iran has an army. They have weapons, missiles, all kinds of things, and that didn't scare them from coming. You think, what do you say again? A little louder this time. That's going to stop them from coming from you. Exactly what you say it is. And please don't tell us no damn Jesus, because goodness gracious. You know how many of our ancestors called on Jesus and they got burned alive? But you know these heathens teach in that book that you're supposed to carry your cross just like Jesus. You want to let them spit in your face, beat your behind halfway to death, and then kill you, and you'll be a martyr, and now you're special. That's exactly what they teach. What would Jesus do? Again, slaves, obey your masters. Nations, obey those who have rulership over you because Yahuah, or Jesus, put them in authority. That's why them devils up there praying for that devil Trump in the shit house. Our dog house. Look at verse 30 say. He said, take heed of yourself that you be not snared by following them. He said, take heed. Self-reflect. Because you could be following them and not know you're following them. Or you could be following them willingly thinking that it's okay to follow them. And both are equally wrong. When he said take heed, he's saying, I remind you, do not follow these people. Do not trust in their system, any of it. And don't trust anybody who trusts it. He said, trust in him. And trusting in him means in his Torah. And I will send a prophet. I will always have a prophet to remind you. One that's after my heart. One that's not afraid of them. And one that's not afraid of you either. Or either, however you want to say it. And I'm going to raise up a people like unto him. And he said, you listen to them. So he told Moses to tell us. And it's forever. So you have to be the question, you want to be a part of them, brothers and sisters, or you want to be a part of this? It's your decision. Nobody's stopping you. No situation is stopping you. If you want to know what a person trusts in, just look at what a person does. I'll say it again. If you want to know what a person trusts in, then look at what they do. It's not hard. What they value? Again, look at what they do. What they believe? Listen to what they say. What did they say they love you? But if they don't do it, but they are liars. It's just identify them as liars. Hypocrites, psychopaths, double-minded. Weren't we told in the book of Enoch not to trust double-minded people? Enoch 91:4 said, don't trust no double-minded woman. Because they're compromised. They can never be true to Yashrael because they're in debt to a heathen, a heathen. It goes on to say here, take heed of this. Be careful that you be not trapped by following them. And after that they be destroyed from before you, that you inquire not after their gods, which is the New Testament God, the God of the Quran, the Book of the Dead, all these other books, the books of Solomon, all of that foolishness. I'm not talking about Ecclesiastes and the wisdom of Solomon and Proverbs and the wisdom of, no, not that. I'm talking about these occultic books out there. The book of Adam and Eve and all of that craziness. Devil-worshipping books. Giving power to Satan. How you say? Acknowledging Satanism. Reverencing Satan. No way Yahuah would have a book out there like that. These are heathen devil books. Yahuah book going to celebrate this Torah and righteous men and women who kept it. It goes on to say this. After that they be destroyed before you, that you not inquire after their Elohim. So we shouldn't, when he said not inquire, and this I'm going to say this to some of you, my brothers and sisters, because some of you, you come and you inquire about Jesus. Well, Elder, what about this? And it said right here, you're not supposed to inquire about that. You're not supposed to inquire about other Elohims, saviors, redeemers. And many of you out there, you're guilty of it, and you don't even know it because you're not studying or you're reading with your eyes closed. Because when your eyes open, you will realize, well, I'm not supposed to be asking questions like that. I'm not supposed to be inquiring about that. That's the divination that he told me to be mindful not to be a part of that. Why would I care about the heathen God? They were in the White House praying to him. He's the one that's giving Trump and all these other heathen nations the authority to go do what they're doing with no accountability. After all, he died for their sins, right? So how could they be held accountable? And if you believe that lie, then you believe that lie. If you believe he died for your sins and you're not accountable for your sins, then they're not accountable for what they're doing. So they can go around and mass murder and sex traffic and do anything they want to do according to you, and it's okay. Because all they have to do is repent to Jesus, and he'll forgive them because he died for their sins. Now you tell me that does not sound like witchcraft or sorcery. That's just so wicked that even the wicked would be ashamed to admit it. But many of you do. Because that's exactly what describes you. Like I said, it's not a game of Jeopardy over here. I'm not here to answer questions about devils. You can go over there, dial them, and the Bora Watchman and all of them, they can answer your questions, I guarantee you. But they're probably just going to ignore you when you go in their comments. They don't care about you like that. That's probably why you come over here. Asking me to. And I've accommodated some of you, but not anymore. That's over. If you want to learn what we learn, you're going to be on the Wednesday night Bible study, so you can go through this catalog of 1,000+ videos. If that's not enough for you, then you know what? Best of luck to you. But I don't have anything else for you. We believe in Yahuah, and we don't believe in any other Savior, no other Redeemer, so don't waste your time. Book tells us not to do it, and we're not going to do it. Again, it says, that you not inquire after their Elohim, talking about the gods of the people and the land for which you live. And there's no way you can say these people that Jesus or Yahushua, Yahushua, or that New Testament is not what these people, believe in. You need to cut it out. Well, they believe in it, but we believe in a different one. Now you're making up stuff. Now you're in their cult, for real, for real. You know good and so well they believe the same thing you believe. You just want to put your spin on it to justify believing it. Not going to work. Might work for you, but it ain't going to work on them heavenly tablets. Again, he says, do not inquire after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their Elohim? Want to know, well, tell me about this, or tell me about that. Well, what is this talking about? What is that? That's what it's talking about. Even so will I do likewise. Don't do it. Say, verse 31, you shall not do so unto Yahuah. For every abomination to Yahuah, for every abomination to Yahuah, which he hates, have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire of their Elohim. This is why they're pushing pro-choice with our children. This is why they're sex trafficking our children. This is why they're being cannibals, literally eating our children, or hunting them down like wild animals. Safaris. Unbelievably wicked. But there's Israel serving their gods. And then wondering why Yahuah allow us to create something somebody else take. Allow us to say we have a culture that knowing good and so well there is no culture. We live off their culture. Whatever heathen nation we're in, we're living off that heathen nation's culture. In Papua New Guinea, good and so well your people living off their culture. They're not living off this Torah. They're not living off this Torah, then you're living off their culture. If you're in America, same thing applies. But America has a deep spell over this nation that the people here don't even know what they're doing. The people over here literally make up their own rules as they go. So if you're in other places around this world, seek not to come to this country. I'm telling you. You bring your family here, your family going to be destroyed. I'm not saying they're not going to be destroyed with y'all, but it's 10 times more likely they're going to get destroyed here. These Americans, these Israelites and American brothers and sisters all over the world, I'm talking to you now, many of the Israelites here, they have no clue that they are in their cult. They have no clue of that. They like, nah, everything is normal. So how can the people who are in the middle of a crap slinging contest, who don't even know what crap is, ever be able to tell you how to be clean? No way. And this is what I'm saying. The Israelite in America or the Western Hemisphere are so deep in the occult, they don't even know they're in the occult. They literally think they're making their own decision, brothers and sisters. They really think they're choosing. That's how deep they are into the occult. And, you know, where it might seem odd to you, let me show you in a moment. Stick with me. Look, trust Elder here. Trust this prophet. Give me a minute. Let's finish this up. So they sacrifice their children to their gods. When you put your children in their education systems, in their religious systems, that's exactly what you're doing. When you put them in there, when you teach them finance, as some of you call yourself, I'm teaching my child how to invest. Well, you're teaching your child how to invest in human traffickers, how they operate in the darkness, using currency to manipulate and control other people. You're teaching them to let money be their God. So you keep on teaching them how to invest. You will be held accountable. They will be held accountable too, but so will you be held accountable. And I'm talking about the harshness of Yahuah. He said, look what he says. He said, what thing whatsoever I command you, guard to do it, and you shall not add add to it or diminish from it. So he's telling you, don't you dare compromise this. So don't you dare try to add to what I said to try to make it fit your lifestyle. Don't you dare diminish what I said to justify your lifestyle. So you can, but understand there will be a consequence for it. And no, it's impossible for you to be redeemed. You can't bring, filth in front of the Creator. Filth that you have not addressed. Or like Saul, you did a portion of it, but not all of it. What happened to Saul? He was called a witch, and all of the anointing was snatched away from him. The very anointing that Yahuah gave him, he took it away from him, and he gave it to somebody better than him, his neighbor, David. The same one, again, where everybody's over there looking over at David, at the whole house. Well, where are your sons? And what Yahuah said, do not look at the outer appearance, Samuel. Look at the heart. So when Samuel looking up there, he said, well, it ain't this one, it ain't this one. He went all the way, all seven. He said, do you have another one somewhere? Jesse said, well, I got one out there, working hard, grinding at the powder, doing his studies every week, teaching the people every week, putting up messages every week, helping the people, responding to the people, taking phone calls from the people, addressing emails from the people, writing precepts from the people, giving them documents, anything they can study to help the people. Was out there on the battlefield fighting for the people, fighting against the lions, fighting against the bears. Say, yeah, his name is David, future king. But oops, Jesse didn't know that. Yahuah did. So Samuel go get him, bring him in here. And showed up as soon as David came, because Yahuah told Samuel, don't judge. I'm looking at the man's heart. I'm not looking at the outer appearance. I'm looking at what he's actually doing, not what he's pretending to be doing. What he is actually doing. He's out there putting in the W-O-R-K. See, that's the one. And Yahuah didn't care about, what his status was before men. No, he looked at what his heart was before him. He didn't care about his status before men. He cared about what his heart was before him. And I'll say the same thing to you, my brothers and sisters. Don't worry about what people think about you. Worry about what Yahuah says about us. They can call us all kind of names. Call us whatever they want to call us. I can't believe y'all living like... You can believe whatever. We can't believe you living like you living. Among a bunch of, you know, heathens, thieves, liars, and cheats, and backbiters, double talkers, two-timers. And you talking about how we live? You don't have no room to talk about how we live, brother, sister. You don't have no room to talk about us. No way. So I encourage those of you all who are coming out of this darkness, coming out of these lies, taking your children out of this deception, breaking off these heathen covenants. And where there is a very few righteous remnant, same thing applies to you. But I'll say it to you again. If you are a liar, then you are a liar. You can't go around telling people somebody is your sister, and then later on tell that same person that you told to their face that that was your sister, and then turn around and say that's your wife, and you're not a liar? Then what the hell is a lie then? And this is the kind of freaky foolishness that Israel, will justify and then come over here and attack the truth, brothers and sisters. Amazing. But like Saul, they'll put a spin on it. Oh, no, he's good. He's a liar, and you are too. Because you went along with it, and you're still going along with it, brothers. And this is how you know who they are. When we realize that someone is wicked, brothers, so we're supposed to break all relationships. We're supposed to move out. We're supposed to get out. We're supposed to separate ourselves. We're not supposed to, dally around and, and try to put, lipstick on a pig, figuratively speaking. Window dressing, on a whole house. No, we're supposed to come out and separate, regardless of what it costs to do it. We're supposed to do it. But they'll say they trust in Yahuah. But based off of what they do, I can't tell. Matter of fact, I can tell. They do not trust in Yahuah. They trust in their lust. Or their self-preservation, which is another form of lust. Psychopaths. No remorse, no empathy. Refuse to deal with what they're dealing with. And become hostile to us, brothers and sisters, when we call it out. And then try to belittle us because we're coming out. Well, go for it, is what I say to them. Because frankly, we don't really give a damn about what you think anymore. And this goes throughout this whole earth. Don't bring your children to America. Well, wait for Yahuah to tell you. Because when he brings the righteous remnant here, he's going to bring you to us. Who is us? We call ourselves the DFG family. The ones that followed Moses, the ones who followed Joshua, the same ones who followed David, even though he was in exile and hated, despised. Yeah, us. We're still here. The seed. Their children. Us. And I would tell those of you, wherever you are on this earth, pack your bags. When it happens, it's going to be fast. It could be day 2, 3 days. Pack your bags. Remember when we left Egypt the last time, 3 days, we were out. We're going to travel light to where you are. You're going to travel light to where we are. And we're in the process of getting, the land together. The spies have already come back with a report. We're getting ready. And we're going to do it. And we don't care what they think. We don't care what anybody says. But unlike many of you, we're going to put our words into action. We ain't going to talk about being a collective people and standing together and helping each other, we're going to actually do it. We ain't going to be like you running off all over the place on your own, talking about you love your people, but you went the opposite direction your people. Or you sitting there doing absolutely nothing, even worse. Just talking, surfing the internet, surfing YouTube. Keep yourself busy because you don't have a life. So you try to project your wickedness on our life. But guess what? We're coming out. Hallelujah. We're taking a stance against you. We're coming for you. For all of you. Every wicked man, woman on this earth, we're coming for you. And we're coming with you with Yahuah with us. Yahuah is our tailwind. So when you come for us, just be ready. We're going to be waiting for you. Because we know you're coming. You've got to come. He said, David said, from the whole earth, he said, all things, they got to come. Just like they're going for those Iranians, which again, heathens. I'm not trying to make them out to be, how you say, saints. They're martyrs. They're probably going to get slaughtered. But at least they're standing together and they respect what they have. They have a culture. And one that goes for thousands of years. So before we start talking, disregarding them, ask yourself the question, you're not even where they are because you have no culture, Yahuah, because you refuse, you want to be a part of the heathens' culture or subculture. You want to believe in their gods. You want to mix clean with unclean, the New Testament, with the Torah, the Tanakh. Our men didn't fight for this Torah to ultimately be compromised and polluted. It's better when we were told they would add to it. That's why he said, don't worry about that. You don't do it. But what our people do, we add it to it. Or if they're going to try to take things out of here and say, don't you do it. But our people are willingly doing it. Exactly what he told them not to do. And you can't say anything to them because Yahuah said, because I told them not to do it and they did it, so now I'm blinding them to what they're doing. They have no ability to recognize that they're wrong anymore. And because they can't recognize they're wrong, they're going to say they're right. And we're wrong. What I'm saying to you, my dear brothers and sisters, the righteous remnant, don't listen to them. And pack your bags because it's time to move away from them. Because they are going to attack. Elder don't spend time watching, foolishness. I'm a very busy-minded man. I do not waste my time in petty folly or foolishness. And I don't look to be entertained, but I am definitely one who is always seeking education. I'm not talking about heathen science and heathen math and heathen finance and heathen religion and heathen whatever heathens do. No, I'm talking about edification so that I can understand the past, the present, the future, so that I understand how to find it in our book. Because it's written in the book. It's a living document. Everything is here. And so I was watching a documentary that was turned into a movie about the Rwandan genocide. The name of the movie is called Sometimes in April. I'm not asking you to go look at it, but I'm going to tell you something that I extrapolated from that movie. And I've seen the movie. This movie's been out for decades now, I believe. But it talks about what happened in 1994 in Rwanda and how that ethnic tribes, Tutsis versus Hutus. Tutsis were Israelites, but they lived with one another. They intermarried with one another. And then a civil war broke out. And what the majority group did was murdered 1 million of the minority group. The Israelites were murdered. 1 million in 3 months, brothers and sisters. The government broke down. The military did not help them. The other nations around the earth did not come to their rescue, just like what's happening in Iran. History repeats itself. I'm not saying Iranians are Israelites. There are some Israelites in Iran. But hey, that's their problem. They better get on over here. Get out of there. That's all I can tell them. Find their way down here to see where we are. But I digress. To bring it back to the movie, what happened when the system broke down, what they did to the daughters of Zion, brothers and sisters, would make Charles Manson blush. You know who Charles Manson is, Helter Skelter? What they did to Owen would make him blush, turn red in the face. And this is what it said. History repeats. This happened to Israelite women. Not 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago. 1994. How many of you were born before 1994 who are listening to me? If you were born before 1994, it happened in your lifetime. 1 million people, Israelites, in 90 days. And they were murdered by the people they lived amongst. Not by invading country, people who were their neighbors one day, and the next day became their, murderers. One day. The first day, 8,000 people were there. And they count each day. How many people? 120 days, I think it was like 760,000 were murdered. And any, so-called, compromising heathen who wanted to be around them or live among them, they slaughtered them too. They went to the educators. If you were a doctor, whether you were a professional, whether you were a teacher, anything, they went for them first and worked their way down to the average man and woman and slaughtered the children. Used machetes on most of them. You know what a machete is? Okay, that's what they were using on most of them. Trapped them in the cities. They could not get out the cities. They couldn't travel no roads. They couldn't hide in their homes. They broke in their homes, grabbed them out of their homes, asked them, what's your identity? And once they realized who they were, they couldn't prove it. They pushed them over the side and genocided them. And because our people are so distracted, they don't even know about this. Most of our people don't know anything about the Rwandan genocide. And that's just one example, brothers and sisters. I mean, there were many more, but this was one that was very relevant because it was Israelites being attacked by Hamites, who they thought were their friends or family. They were intermarried, some of them. Didn't stop them from betraying each other, though. And the book say, make no covenants with these people. There's a reason he said don't do it. They don't intermarry with them. There's a reason he said not to do it. And no matter how one try to justify, you can't change Yahuah. He said don't do it. But I just wanted to just bring that out. Let's go back. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29. I'll read. Chapter 29, verse 1. These are the words with the covenant for which Yahuah commanded Moses to cut with the children of Yashua in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he cut with them in Chero, or Kara. And Moses called unto all of Yashua and said unto them, you have seen all that Yahuah did before your eyes in the land of Egypt, unto Pharaoh their king, and unto all of his servants, and unto all of his land. So you see how Yahuah has judged these people for their wickedness, for their culture, for their abomination, for their idolatry, for their paganism, for their wickedness against his people, us. That's what he's saying to them. What I'm saying to you. Even though many of you want to ignore it. He said, the great temptations which your eyes have seen, the signs and those great miracles. Talk about all of Yahuah is doing right now with all of these, phenomena that we call that are happening. Weather, patterns that are not explainable. 2 suns in the sky. Animals and different other species acting total out of their normal patterns. Illness and sickness, some of it brought on by the doctrine, the inoculation, which is causing people today not to be cognitively able to respond to this mayhem, which was done intentionally. Instead of people, in the street saying this is wrong, people just sitting at home watching television. You don't know nothing about these people threatening to kill 90 million people with your tax dollars if you're in America. They could care less. It's like nothing is happening. And whether or not you agree with, with genociding of people or not, you should recognize that these heathens are going to bring this home. Hell, they came from here and went there, and they're going to come back after that. And as I said earlier, they have clubs that they can join where they hunt human beings, particularly us, Joshua. And when the system breaks down, daughters of Zion, men of Zion, I'm just telling you, you'll have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And no, Jesus is not going to save you. And no, Yahuah is not going to save you either. When he says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every, tongue that rises up against you, Yahuah is going to judge. Here's a part that, again, I've said to my brothers and sisters time and time again. Look, I turn right to it. It says, no weapon, this is Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise up against you in judgment, you shall condemn. But this is the part that we typically ignore or we read right by because we're so excited about no weapon formed against us is going to prosper. But that is a conditional statement, brothers and sisters. That's conditional. That is not a guarantee. Hear me again. That is conditional. That's predicated on you doing a particular thing. And here is the thing. He said, this is the heritage of the servants of Yahuah, and their righteousness is of me, says Yahuah. They don't make their righteousness based off of how they feel. They base their righteousness off of what Yahuah says. He said, this is their heritage. This scripture applies to them and them only, not everybody. This is not a holistic or global statement. Just because you believe in the Creator does not make this apply to you. You have to be obedient to the word that's here for that to apply to you. Otherwise, there's no protection for you when crap hits the fan. Just like it was no protection for them. And by the way, if you go watch the documentary or the movie, sometimes in April, I'll say it again, they were slaughtering many of the children, the people who were in the churches. They were in the sanctuary where Jesus was. And guess what? No, Jesus did not save them. And there was a part in the movie where the dogs were eating their body, just like Jeremiah chapter, 15:3 says. The dogs will eat your flesh. They were in the churches, and they went right in the churches and slaughtered everybody. All these Jesus believers. And left their bodies, and the dogs ate the bodies, and the rest of the bodies just turned into skeletons. Bodies rotted, and dead bodies was laying all over the place. History is going to repeat itself. That was a repeat of history that happened there. So I wouldn't let anybody tell me if I were you somebody's trying to scare me when there's evidence that these people actually did that. That's not a myth. Look it up. Rwandan genocide. And America knew about it. The Western countries knew about it. France knew about it. Who else was there? There's another country. Belgium knew about it. A whole bunch of these, they didn't do the European, they didn't do a damn thing about it. It was like, it ain't got nothing to do with us. They ain't got nothing over there we want. Let them solve it. Africans killing Africans, which is a lie. That's why I say, just because they're melanated, don't make them us, brothers and sisters. So I watch it to study behavior. And then I come right back to the book, and there that behavior is. So I know the book is true. Unlike many of you. You just think it's something to read. It's just a document, like you read anything else. Now that's going to be your first and biggest mistake right there. It's not a document like anything else. This book was written with the hand of Yahuah. I know you just can't believe that. I know, because you're marked for damnation. You're not going to believe it. We understand that. The righteous one, we understand that. That's why you're not with us. That's why you won't be with us. But like they did in Noah, that you'll regret it. You'll be saying then. Like I said, the people knew. They just didn't care. He warned them. They didn't listen. Or they listened and got tired of listening. And when they were ready to listen, it was too late. They were destroyed. And they're in hell right now, by the way. About that noise you hear, some of y'all say, I be hearing noise outside, this roaring noise. How you know that's not people roaring? Couldn't that be the ones that are in hell? That's a portal. You think the sun, I told you, brothers and sisters, there's two suns up there. One is the one Yahuah created, the other one is hell. It's the portal to hell. You're looking out, not looking up. You think you're looking up because you believe in these wicked signs. You believe there are other planets. You believe there are other universes, other galaxies. I just showed you there's a firmament over the earth. And if you read the book, you would know that. These people can't get through that firmament. Even in their own science, they tell you there's a radiation belt 30,000 miles wide. You can't get through that. That's why comets, according to them, can't come down. There's no such thing as that. But that's why they claim it can't come into the earth, because people will be asking questions then, well, what's protecting the earth? Well, they got to make it up. Well, there's a radiation belt. No, it's a firmament. But they went to the moon, although I don't know, go ask, what's his name, Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut. There's a video out there where a little girl asked him about how was it to go to the moon. He said, that's a question that's really, a little child shouldn't be asking. He said, but I would tell you if we ever went, but we never went. Now, this was the damn astronaut said who was credited for going to the moon. That's what he told the girl. He said, but I would answer. He said, but we never went to the moon. But they sure as hell lied and said they did. And now when you ask for the footage, you know that they don't show no footage of it. They say they lost the footage. Well, what about the science that y'all used to go? Well, we lost that too. That doesn't sound like a cover-up to you? Talk about redacting. Goodness. They redacted whole history, the most important history of the world. They redacted it. I'm talking about going to the moon. Because it never happened, just like he told her. But to keep you from, trusting in this book, they got to give you signs. They're going to get their Neil Tyson, whatever, DeGrasse Tyson, that buffoon. They're going to put him out there to make you think he's so smart. He's an astrophysicist, so, he is so smart. He's nothing but a clown, paid off Freemason, plant to put there to keep you believing lies and sorcery, brothers and sisters. Making up title astrophysicist. They made it up. Let's make a degree. Let's call it an astrophysicist. And let's say that he can be one. Tell everybody he's smart, smart, smart. And everything comes out of his mouth is dumb, dumb, dumb. So no weapon formed against you will prosper. That's only for a small few of us, brothers and sisters. Those who are going to obey this Torah and will never challenge it. We know better than that. And we don't just hear it, we actually do it. We obey it. And that's why they come after us. Because they won't. Because they have too much to lose if they do. They'll try to make mockery out of you so that you don't see what's hidden in their closet. But that secret's going to be exposed. Give it a minute. And it's going to be judged by Yahuah. Give it a minute. You'll see. Just think about sometimes in April what's going to happen. Think inside that door, you're going to be safe, or Yahuah going to protect you because you believe. Not if you're not obedient, he is. Back to Deuteronomy chapter 29, picking up at verse 5, verse 4, verse 3. It goes on to say, and the great temptations which your eyes have seen, the signs and the great miracles which we're seeing those things right now. That is the great temptations. Well, it's okay to do this and it's okay to do that, and everybody has a right to their own opinion. That's a temptation if there ever was one. This book says wicked people do whatever they imagine to do, not a righteous people. You can read that in the book of Judges, talked about a nation of people who did that. Or our people, really, it was a time that all of them, it wasn't just the Benjamites, all of Israel did it. So there was no judge in the land, and everybody did what they imagined according to their own heart. That's Judges 21 and 24, I believe. It's chapter 21, verse 24. So just because you think you can do whatever you want to do, hey, you're not the first one thinking like that, dude. There's a long history of fools thinking like that. You just don't know it because you, unfortunately, are a fool. I know you don't like getting called a fool, but that's what you are. So a fool hates knowledge. And what more important knowledge than this book? This book has been here from the beginning of time. What book is greater than this book? But you don't care to read it, so you will never know the greatness of the book. Or if you read it with your eyes closed. Or you read it, with prejudice. Not racist prejudice. You pick and choose the part that you agree with. And then you shun or walk away or ignore the part that you disagree with. Verse 4. Yet Yahuah has not given you a heart to perceive, eyes to see, ears to hear, unto this day. He said Yahuah is not giving them that because of the hardness of their heart, because they love the ways of these heathens. They honor these heathens. Hell, they adore these heathens. Some of them cook and clean for these heathens. Willingly. He goes on to say this, again, verse 4. He said, Yahuah has not given you a heart to perceive. So you'll never understand his ways. Eyes to see, so you'll never see his ways. Ears to see, you'll never understand. He said, to this very day that we're in right now, Yahuah does not change. So whatever applied back there with Moses, it applies right here. Or what I'm saying, DFG. So Yahuah said, I don't change. His word is eternal. He goes on to say, verse 5. He said, have I led you for 40 years? This is Moses. Have I led you for 40 years in the wilderness, and your clothes are not old? Your shoes are not old? Have you not eaten? Neither have you drunk wine or strong drink, that you might know that I am Yahuah? This is Moses telling them what Yahuah says. So Yahuah said, I've done all these things, and you still can't see me? You still talking about there's another Savior? You still talking about there's another Redeemer? You still saying Yahuah knows your heart? You know, Yahuah knows how pure your heart is. When your heart is desperately wicked above all things, who can understand it? Isn't that what Jeremiah said? But somehow you know your heart, and your heart is in rebellion against Yahuah's truth, against Yahuah's prophet. Say it ain't so, but it is so. It is so. This can't be true, but it is true. I don't believe it. Well, you better believe it. Heart, eyes, ears. I just gave you a demonstration. But let's continue on. Verse 7. He said, when you came to this place, he named the places. He said, they came out against you to battle, but we beat them. This is why we're supposed to live among each other, brothers and sisters. If you don't want to be destroyed by these people, you're tired of these people locking you up for no reason, locking you out of, the things that you need, for self-preservation, then why won't you come together and create it among your own via this Torah? Trusting in Yahuah. He taught them how to get their own food. He didn't tell them come out here and then do business with the Chinese. He didn't say come out here and do business, with Taiwan. He didn't say come out here and do business with Samsung or Apple. No, he said, you build amongst your own people. You learn the ancient ways. You learn how to grow your own food. Raise your own children. Marry in your custom, not their custom. Serve him and him only, Yahuah. He said, I'll bless it. He said, I'll put my hands on it. That's what Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 12 is talking about. Even though all people want to ignore that part, and they all they want to talk about is, going back on some damn slave ships. Or curses. That's a low-level, low-gravy mentality that all you can see is that you're in a curse or in captivity, so therefore you don't have to strive and work hard or separate yourself. The only nation on this earth who thinks like that is Yasharel. Even the most heathen of heathenist nations know that at the end of the day, if they're going to survive, it's up to them to figure that out. Yeah, they might make allies here and there, but the core value, they have it. They have a constitution unto themselves. Every nation. Except for Yasharel. We have one, but it's being dismissed because of wicked Israelites among us who refuse to let it exist. It's being dismissed because wicked Israelites among us won't let it exist. They want to tell you, oh, nobody can keep it. Oh, no, y'all press. They're going to say just making it up as they go. But it's not going to work. It's working on the simple-minded among us, but it's not going to work for those who have wisdom among us. We're not listening to them anymore. We don't care about your opinions. We don't care about what you think. We're finished with you. You're done. It's over. Your magic, your sorcery, your spell is done. You stay where you at. We're going to be where we are. You good? Good, because we good. Let's go on, he says here, verse 8. Then he goes, he said, and they took the land and they gave it, talking about from our enemies when we came out of Egypt. And we took the land. We took their land. We as a collective. But watch this part. We took their land and gave it for an inheritance to Reuben and Gadites and half the tribe of Manasseh. See, we weren't selfish. What we got, we gave. When we received, we gave. If you go back and look at the book of Numbers, chapter 32, when we were going over to Jordan, remember Gad and Reuben and half the tribe of Manasseh told Moses, we're good. We're not going with y'all. And what did Moses tell them? Oh, yes, you are. Or Yahuah will destroy everything that y'all got. Because you know why he told them that, brothers and sisters? Because they got it with the help of all of us. See, whatever rights we have in this country, those rights were established by our ancestors. They fought, our ancestors died for these rights that many of these young people today will never reverence. Oh no, ain't no racism. Only because racism is here, but you're not feeling the full wrath of racism because of people before you, not Frederick Douglass, he compromised, well, to some degree, but he was compromised, but like Denmark Vesey, all of these revolutionaries, Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosser, many of our brothers and sisters came all the way through the lineage, the fight, and the die. Some of the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, all of them, even Dr. King in their own little perverted way, but to some degree created this avenue, this safe space that many of us are somewhat enjoying. And we don't have enough respect or reverence to realize that they created this space. And this is what Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh was doing back then. They had forgotten, like Moses said, you forgot how we got this. Y'all have this because of other people's sacrifices. And now y'all refuse to sacrifice. Tell me that's not all people right now. Taking it for granted. Like it was always this way. I don't believe in racism. Well, you're a damn fool. Because it believes in you. Because it hates your black, melanated, whatever color you call yourself behind. You just don't know it because you got a little white access. And you know, I guess you think you them now. You don't even know who you are. That's the problem. That's why you're not standing on this word, because you refuse to do it, because they taught you, oh no, it's just an information. Like snow. Brother, sister, your life depends on what's written in this book. And shame on you if you don't know that. And you're running out of time. If you don't refocus and take away that shame, or that shame going to destroy you and everything that you think you love. He goes on to say, so this is just to give you a reference point. He's talking about Numbers 32 when he says, and we took their land and we gave it for an inheritance to the Reubenites and the Gadites and half the tribe of Manasseh. Verse 9 says, now guard therefore the words of this covenant. Guard, it means protect, and to do it, that you may prosper in all that you do. And we're failing miserably, brothers and sisters, because we refuse to do this part. We think that we just go out there and just, work hard and get a good education and, and marry right or marry up or marry down or whatever clownish foolishness, that somehow or another it's all going to work out in the long run. No, it's not. No, it is not. That's an illusion that you have, because you're believing in a lie. That's sorcery. These people are liars. They're scorched earth liars and predators. They're not working on behalf of America by going out there stealing and plunging. They're working on behalf of the rich. And like I told you before, most of them who are doing this dirty, heavy lifting right now are men and women who they've got all kind of information on these people and what they've been doing, behind the scenes with these children and young women and young men into Israel that you don't know about. And that's who you trust in the future too? No, Yahuah said, we guard his covenant and keep the word. Then he said we're going to prosper in everything that we do. Verse 10, he said, and you stand this day, all of you, before Yahuah, your captains of your tribes, your elders, your officers, with all the men of Yasharel, the men of Yasharel. So a man of Yasharel is going to do these things. He's going to respect authority. He's going to take responsibility. And he's going to follow the leader. I'll read it to you again. You stand this day, all of you, before Yahuah. This is his commandment. Your captains of your tribes, your elders, and your officers, with all the men of Yasharel, your little ones, your women, your stranger that is in your camp, from the hewer of your wood unto the drawer of your water, talking about the strangers who are supposed to be serving righteous Yasharel by keeping the Torah, as well as serving Yasharel. You can read about that in the book of Isaiah chapter 14. I know my voice is getting up. I promise I will try to keep it down today. But it's passionate. Not trying to holler at anybody. I think I had a dream like that. Why are you always hollering? I'm like, seriously? But I am a lion. I'm a lion of Judah, just like David. Lions roar. So I don't apologize. I just said I would try to keep it down. But I mean what I'm saying. Unlike you, that's why my voice is full of conviction. And you're just a whimper, or a mocker, or a scorner. You want to play 21 questions. Some of you talking about. What about? If you want to know about Yahuah, then you need to be with us. On Wednesday night, you can go watch all these videos, including this one, time over and over again, if you really genuinely care. Otherwise, why are you even asking me anything anyway? If you don't care about what I have to say, then why are you questioning me? That right there says that you're nothing but a scorner and a mocker. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. You'd be learning, at least getting information. Sizing it up, comparing it to what is written in this book. I mean, I'm teaching with the book open. You see where I'm reading. I've given you, everywhere I've read, I've given you those reference points. Let's continue on. He said we're supposed to be teaching it to the stranger, our women, our children, to the captains, to the elders, to the officers. All of us are supposed to be on one accord, brothers and sisters. Not everybody doing whatever they want to do. Otherwise, we'll never have a culture. It has nothing to do about buying and selling with heathens. That type of behavior has proven time and time again it does not work. If we're going to make it, it has to be with us, for us, by us. And trust that Yahuah will bless it. Otherwise, you're not trusting Yahuah. You're trusting yourself or you're trusting them heathens out there, all over this earth, all the different tribes of them. The black ones, the brown ones, the red ones, the yellow ones, and the so-called white ones. And that's not going to get you out of the mess that's coming, if that's what your choice is. But let's continue on. And this is the warning to us. He goes on to say this, verse 12, and that you should enter into a covenant with Yahuah only, and into his oath with Yahuah, and that Yahuah has cut with you on this day, that he may establish you today for a people unto himself. And this is for all you love everybody Israelites. Well, Yahuah said, I love you exclusively, but you can't love yourself enough to be loved by him. What does that say about you? Even worse, what you trying to say about him? Oh, that's why you don't believe in him? Because you let the heathen tell, I could never serve a racist Elohim. Well, your little wicked behind wouldn't even be here if it was not for your so-called racist Elohim. So you really think he cares about your opinion? Your very existence was produced and created by him. And you think he cares about what you think about him? What a fool you are if you think that or say that or believe that. And the world is full of people like that, unfortunately, brothers and sisters. That's why he said they got eyes to see, can't see, ears to hear, but will not hear. A heart to perceive, but they can't perceive. In other words, mentally, they're just not going to get there. They're too indoctrinated with the heathens' education and economic system, financial system, religious system, self-serving vanity system. They know everything and they know nothing. Verse 13. And then he will establish you today for a people unto himself, that he may be unto you the almighty creator, as he has said unto you, and he has promised unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He reminded us, our forefathers, brothers and sisters, that he made a promise to them that he would look out for us if we kept his commandment, if we kept our eyes on him. Yahuah wants to keep his promise with you. But Yahshua does not want to be saved. Yahshua wants to be served. They don't want to be servants, they want to be served. If you give me what I want, then yeah. If you do what I want you to do, then yeah. If you believe the way I believe, then yeah. You don't matter that much. Not before Yahuah. None of us do. We don't tell him, he tells us. The door frame don't tell the carpenter how many grooves, what size the doorway is going to be. The maker of the pot don't tell the potter what design to put on the pot. Think about it. While you still have time to do something about it. You said, I made a promise to our forefathers, brother. He said, I made a promise. He made a promise to our forefathers that if we did what was right, he would bless us. But we had to keep these commandments just like they had to keep the commandments. They had the Torah. I've said it to you before. We know Abraham had it. We surely know Isaac had it. And without question, Jacob had it. And we have it. Verse 14. Said, neither with you only do I cut this covenant and this oath, but with him that stands here with us this day before Yahuah. Also with him that is not here with us this day. For you know not how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which passed by. And as you have seen their abominations and their idols, their wood, their stone, their silver, their gold, which were among them. And this is all in parentheses because it's saying there is going to be a people that's not a people, or a strange people, or a stranger people, that Isaiah 56 said, you would say, no, them too. Only because they are going to be faithful and loyal to him as well. But a few of them, and the only reason he's going to give them mercy is because of the way they treated us, his chosen. That's why it's in parentheses, so you can understand it. 18. Least there shall be among you man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turns away this day from Yahuah, to go and serve the gods of these nations. Least there shall be among you a root that bears gall and wormwood. See, a small fox has spoiled the vineyard. He said that's why we can't tolerate traitors among us. Compromised Israelites. Israelites who are between two opinions. So you got to root them out. You got to push them out. You got to call them out. You got to grind them to powder, as we talked about. You got to run them away. Because they are poison. They are disease. They are epidemic. They are plagues. And if you let them stay around, they will corrupt other people with their vomit, with their garbage, with their lies and half-truths, their perversion. He said, no, they're like wormwood. They're like gall, G-A-L-L, which is poison. He said, no, don't let them stay around. Get a stick, get a club, get a sword, get a gun, whatever it takes. But make sure they run. Make no space, no room for them. Or they will corrupt anything they come close to. Because all they think about is themselves and what they want. They don't think about their sisters. They don't think about their brothers, what they need. These people are compromised. And they'll bring that same compromised behavior among us, brothers and sisters. So we have to be bold. We have to take a stand. We've got to establish ourselves. We can no longer hide from these people. They are our enemies just as much as those who are not Israel are our enemies. And we need to let them know that. You're not going to hide among us anymore. We're going to expose your wickedness. Verse 19, and it shall come to pass, when he hears the word of this curse, that he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of my own heart and add drunkenness to the thirst. Yahuah will not spare that person, but then the anger of Yahuah and his jealousy shall smoke against that man. And all the curses that are written in this cipher shall lie upon that man, and Yahuah shall blot that man's name out from under heaven. He said they're going to come in here and try to do what they want to do. Tell us what to do. Tell us what is right. Tell us what is wrong. Tell us who the Savior is. Tell us who our Redeemer is. Tell us that we curse. Tell us that we can't be blessed. Tell us that somebody else has to die for our sins. Tell us that we can't hold each other accountable. Tell us that we don't have a culture. Tell us that we can't have leadership. Tell us that we can't serve Yahuah with all our heart, all our mind, all our strength. Tell us that we have to give our children over to the heathen system of things so that our children can somehow refrain from being who they are and assimilate to who their enemies are. And we're telling you, no, not going to happen, not anymore. And Yahuah says these people are an accursed people. They do what they want to do and then claim Yahuah is with them. He says he's not. That's why I call them religious psychopaths. Be wary of them, brothers. Be mindful of them. Keep an eye out for them. They're all over the place. They come and sit in among us like they want to know. They're not here. They're here to spy. They're reading the comments to see what you're doing. Totally not hearing the word. They just write in the comments. Who's in there? What do? And they know I'm not lying. They know I'm not lying on them. That's exactly what they do. And every now and then they'll show themselves. They'll attack you. But Yahuah going to get them. Don't worry about it. He said, vengeance is mine. I'm going to repay. And they can spew out curses all they want. First, say your curse ain't going to work against us. Your curse is going to come right back to you. Out of the mouth. How you say life and death is in the power of the tongue. He said, you can't curse what Yahuah is blessed. You better go back and read this book. But then again, you're already reading, but you don't understand what you read. You read with your eyes closed. You're confusing reading the book with doing what's in the book. And that is your judgment. That is your curse. Or their curse. He goes on to say 21, verse 21. And Yahuah shall separate him unto evil out of the tribes. And Yahuah shall separate him unto evil out of the tribes of Yasharel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in the cipher of this Torah, so that the generation to come of your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land shall say, when they see the plagues of that land and the sicknesses which Yahuah shall have laid up on it. And look how sick our people are. Why? Because they do with the imagination of their own heart, because they learn the ways of the heathen. And the heathens, all about the strangers everywhere, know about it. And nobody comes to help. They help by giving you poison. They help by giving you their religion. They help by perverting your children, telling your boys that they are girls and girls that they're boys, if they choose to be. They help by telling you you can marry outside of your nation. And it's no big deal to Yahuah. And that's a lie. Straight up in the book says you marry of your own people. There's no disputing that. Where is that, elder? Okay, let's go over to the book of Tobit. This is for all the little wretched ones out there who want to challenge Yahuah's prophet. Like, I don't know. But if I'm his prophet, I'm supposed to know. And I can assure you, I know. But you don't know. And that's what your damnation is going to be about. The book of Tobit, chapter 4. Look what it says right here, brothers and sisters. Starting at verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, which is idolatry, and promiscuous sex, You know, for all you so-called daughters and all these men you've been sleeping with over time. Talking about that behavior. Those with a living husband, but you married another husband. Yeah. He goes on to this and say, verse 12, it says, beware of all whoredoms, my son. Chiefly take a woman of the seed of your father, and take not a strange woman. This includes strangers too. It didn't say with exception of certain strangers. It said of no stranger. It says, take a woman of the seed of your fathers, and take not a strange woman to be your woman, which is not of your father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Remember, my son, that our father from the very beginning, not just what Deuteronomy chapter 7 is talking about. He said from the very beginning, stop trying to pervert scriptures. He said from the very beginning, remember, even they all married women of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. From the very beginning, it was this way. And yeah, you got certain heathens out there want to say, oh no, he's only talking about these 7 tribes. Son, you are going to hell for that lie. But let's come on back, brothers and sisters, as we get down towards the end. Hallelujah. Just bringing out the truth. It's my job. Shabbat shalom. Again. Ain't done yet, though. He said, Yahuah shall separate him unto the evil out of the tribes of Yasharel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in the cipher. That's verse 21. 22, so that the generation to come of your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land shall say, when they see the plagues of that land, and the sickness which Yahuah has laid upon it, and that the whole land thereof is brimstone and salt and burning. He's going to burn this thing down. That's why I was saying earlier, don't run over here just because you need somewhere to be. If you're coming over here and you're a righteous remnant of Yasharel, that's different. If you're trying to run over here because your country is going to go down, you running right in, how they say, from the skillet right into the frying pan. From the cadron right into the seething pot. No, this is only for the righteous. He says, and the whole land thereof is brimstone, and salt, and burning that is not sown, nor bears, nor any grass grows therein. A desolation land, just like Isaiah 6 and 10 talks about. The land will be desolate. Not a person in 6 through 13. The women are going to be left alone. That's why they're going to be 7 to 1, trying to find protection in Isaiah 4 and 1. Told you about sometimes in April, sisters, you might want to go look over there and see what the future looks like for you. If you're going to just be over here on your own, you don't need nobody, okay. You remember I warned you against that mindset. That's a lie. You don't need them today. But I guarantee you, if this government falls down, or Iran might have something up its sleeve and take down this grid, and where there is no more power, no more light, no more government, no more police to call, what you going to do then? You running around here half naked. You don't think those men see your ass? They're going to come back later for you. They're going to remember where you live. Oh, yeah, that neighbor downstairs. He going to remember that landlord. Oh, he was looking at you. That's why he was so nice. Oh, yeah, I said it. He says, and the whole land thereof is brimstone and salt and burning, that is not sown, nor bears any grass. It talks about a land of desolation. He said he's going to overthrow it like Sodom and Gomorrah, brothers and sisters. He said Yahuah overthrew this in his anger and in his wrath. So you mean to tell me the Creator can get angry? You mean to tell me the Creator can have wrath? Yet his prophet can't? But he's not Yahuah's prophet then. Because his prophet do what he says. His prophet is supposed to emulate his behavior, image and likeness, remember? If you were with us, you'll know that when Moses came down out the mountain in Exodus chapter 32, and he saw what the people were doing, it said Moses was furious with the people. Furious. So he was so mad, he took that calf, that stuff, he grind that stuff all up, they said, and said, now you drink this, your sin. So you drink your sin. That's what he did. He ground it up and told him, you drink your filth. Like a dog going back to the vomit. And that's what he's saying, and y'all still saying to all of you compromised Israelites out there. And you know where you compromised at. Whatever is keeping you from being 10 toes down, 2 hands up, serving Yahuah. Whatever's keeping you from that is what you compromised into, and that sin is going to find you out. It's already found you out. And y'all going to mark you for destruction. And there's going to be no remedy for you because you refuse to be corrected. Because you just got to be right. And you're wrong. And he told me to tell you. He said you wasn't going to listen. But tell you anyway. Go read Ezekiel 3 and 18. It talks about you. Ezekiel 3, chapter 3, verse 18. Talks exactly about you. Verse 24. Deuteronomy 29, verse 24. And even all the nations shall say, wherefore has Yahuah done this unto this land? Why? Why is he doing this to us? What kind of Elohim is he? What kind of God? You know how they use that deal. What kind of God would let this happen? And I'm going to say this to you, educated man and woman. Do you realize when you use the word God, that's the equivalent of calling the creator a dog? Have you not thought, look at the letters. G-O-D, God, D-O-G, dog. You think that's a coincidence? The heathen had a God with a dog head. His name was Anubis. Look it up. When you use the word God, you're saying that the Elohim, you're talking about the Egyptian God Anubis. And you don't even know it. Stop using that word. You're blaspheming. You're calling the creator a dog, a filthy beast, an unclean animal. Look up Anubis. It's there. Egyptian god Anubis, dog head. His name is Yahuah. Oh, no, his name is, what do you claim over there? You talking about down right? No, his name is not the His name is Yahuah, whatever. You go sit down. That's a title, idiot. Just means all present. He has a name. It's like you have one. Verse 25. Verse 24. And then all the nations shall say, where has Yahuah done this unto this land? And what means the heat of this great anger? And then men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahuah, of their fathers. Who are our fathers? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Noah. The covenant. To the inner marrying, we outer marrying. Everything he says to do, doing the opposite. That's called witchcraft, sorcery, divination, rebellion. Those are abominations before Yahuah. Again, verse 25. And then the men shall say, because we have forsaken the covenant. This is why he's angry with us. This is why we're not being blessed. This is why you build something, someone else gets the credit for what you build. You create something and somebody else gets the pleasure of using what you created, and you get no accreditation nor compensation. Because it's in the book, it's going to happen. So while we walk around, we talk about who did this and who created this and that, why you don't have ownership of it? Because you rejected Yahuah's Torah. So I'm going to give you the talent to do it, but somebody else is going to take advantage of it. Somebody else is going to reap the benefits of it. Now you have the answer. What you going to do about it? Keep doing what you're doing, or are you going to change? Easy question. And it's not jeopardy. He goes on to say, because they forsook the covenant of Yahuah, of their fathers, which he cut with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. And for they went and they served other Elohims, worshiping the gods of these heathens, falling in love with the gods of these heathens, falling in love with the customs of these heathens, making covenant with these heathens, intermarrying with these heathens, laying up with these heathens, looking for the heathen spoils of war to advantage themselves, living off the heathen's government, like vipers, like parasites, refusing to go out and put the work in for the building of the kingdom. Muzzling the mouth of the ox that treaded out the grain. Refusing to help with the work of Yahuah is what I'm saying. And they're proud of it. For Yahuah said, you're gonna, whatever you get, you're gonna lose. That's what exactly you're gonna put money in bags with holes in it. You're never gonna get ahead. He goes on and says, picking up back verse 26. But they went and served the other Elohim, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Kali, whoever, and worshiped them, the Elohim whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto him, or them. Didn't give us no New Testament. The heathens gave us that. And the anger of Yahuah was kindled against this land, to bring upon all the curses that are written in this book. And Yahuah rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land as it is to this day. Nothing new under the sun. But there's a small righteous remnant of us that this does not apply to. The covenant keepers. We like to call them the DFG family. Because we love Yahuah with all our heart, all our mind, and all our strength, and we're not going to quit. And you can't do anything to stop us. Oh yeah, you can make things miserable. The enemy can come in and set snares and traps, bring about tears, setbacks. But that's okay. You wait till Yahuah comes and avenge for us. He's going to eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for a life. Don't you forget that. You do your curses here, curses coming back to you, devil. Watch. No, don't watch. Wait. Verse 29. Now the secrets, and I talked about this earlier, of Yahuah, and the revealing to us and to our son forever is by the keeping of the word of this Torah. So if you want to know the mysteries of Yahuah, you better be in this Torah. You want to know the secrets, you better be in this Torah. You want to get the blessing, you better be in this Torah. You want to win and stop losing, you better be in this Torah. If you're tired of being the tail and you want to be in the head, you better be in this Torah. If you want to be the lender and not the borrower, you better be in this Torah. If you want to be protected with that shield that Yahuah said, I'm going to put around those who obey me, that Proverbs 30:5 says, that my word, though it's a pure word, and it's a shield around those who keep it. If you want to win, then you had better keep this Torah, brothers and sisters. And keeping it means learning about it. And learning about it means, getting it in your heart and then executing it. No compromise. No weakness. It's all about power. It's all about sincerity. And it's all about truth. We teach, we farm, we teach, inform, and educate. We think, we reflect, and we go out and we make a difference. And for all of you who stand with me on that, I want to say this to you. May Yahuah bless you. May Yahuah protect you. May Yahuah continue to enlarge your boundaries. And remember, the clock is ticking. Time is running out. The hourglass. The sand. Elohim is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. And yea, do I fight through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise Yahuah. Shalom, Yahshua.